Hey guys, this is Nick from ForexForNoobs.com with some Forex price action analysis. Today is Tuesday, the 23rd of February 2016, and it is 17:50 here in the UK. You're looking at a Euro USD 12-hour chart. Let's go up to the daily. In today's analysis, we're going to be going through every single pair I have listed here, and we're going to be looking at each and every time frame for those pairs. The reason I do this is to scan for price action setups. If I look at every single pair and every single time frame, and I do this several times per day, it ensures that I rarely miss a trade. Although this week I kind of did miss 2 trades, but that's just because I wasn't looking and I wasn't able to check my charts. It just so happened that the brief period in which I wasn't able to check my charts, I missed 2 trades. But you know, that's trading for you. Sometimes it happens. Anyway, before we get started with the analysis, I just wanted to say I will be holding a webinar starting on March 1st at 6 p.m. UK time. It's going to be one of 3 webinars on March 1st. March 2nd, there's going to be another webinar, and March 3rd, there's going to be another webinar. So it's going to be 3 webinars over the course of 3 days. In those 3 webinars, I'm going to be discussing my advanced price action technique. So you're going to learn how I trade and pretty much how to put this analysis into use if you don't know already. I'm going to be discussing a lot of new techniques for 2016, a lot of the newest stuff that I've been working on. If you want to sign up for those webinars, there's a link popping up on the YouTube video right now, but there's also a link below this video on the blog or on YouTube, depending on where you're watching this. And one more thing to discuss before we start this analysis, I'm going to close my Steam because it keeps popping up. One more thing to discuss before this analysis is the time frames. Now, I mentioned this in pretty much every analysis video I do, but just in case there's some new people here, which there probably is, I'm going to go through this explanation again. You're going to notice here that I have a lot of weird time frames, such as the 5-hour, the 7-hour, the 9, the 10, and the 11. Those are time frames I do not trade. The only reason I have those time frames open is to split price action up into different candle sizes. That way I can better read and better understand price action. It just gives me a slightly better understanding of price action, because the more time frames I can read price action on, the better I understand what price is doing. I don't actually trade those time frames. The time frames I do trade are the 3-hour charts, the 4-hour charts, the 6-hour, the 8-hour, the 12-hour, and the daily charts. Those are the ones I trade. Anyway, so let's get started with today's analysis. We're going to start off with Euro USD. Now, fair warning, probably not going to find anything in today's analysis. 2 trades have already triggered today, and that's rare for a Tuesday that you would get 2 trades on a Tuesday. Not really that common. It's unlikely we're going to be seeing any other potential setups here today. Nothing really on Euro USD. It's between 2 areas of support resistance, so there's not really that much potential for us to see a trade here. I will be looking for Euro USD to drop down to the 109.25-ish, this kind of area here. If price does drop down to here, I'll be looking for signs of a reversal and a possible stall to this downtrend, and looking for signs to possibly go long. Let's check out Usdchf. There's an open trade on Usdchf at the moment. It's a trade from the forum, from the price action forum. So there's not really any point in actually doing analysis for Usdchf actually, because yeah, if a trade's open, there's not going to be any trades that we're going to find that we might want to open. So yeah, there's no point doing analysis for Usdjpy, sorry. And that also goes for New Zealand USD actually. So let's just move those to the bottom and not do analysis on those. Let's check out AUD New Zealand. Some people in the price action course trade this pair, and they asked me to do support resistance areas for it. It's not really a pair I normally trade, but you know, I've done the support resistance areas for it, so we may as well do the analysis and just quickly skim through it. But there's nothing much happening here, because again, it's in between 2 support resistance areas, which means there's not really any potential to take a trade here. So next, GBP AUD, I've yet to update my support resistance areas. So let's go to the daily, and we'll update them right now. All right, first one goes there. Spans across several areas, but it accounts for that bounce, this bounce, and that bounce. So it looks like there's quite clearly support resistance here. So I'll be using that level. And oops. I'm going to say around about here looks like a good level. Roughly there. It accounts for all these bounces down here. So all these ones. And that bounce there. So that looks pretty good to me. Which means price is kind of in between two support resistance areas. So again, we're not really going to see anything of value here. But like I said, this is pretty normal for a Tuesday. It's very rare that there's two trades on a Tuesday. There's two open trades right now, but that's very rare. You don't normally get two open trades on a Tuesday. So, you know, it's going to be hard to find any trades today because, like I said, it's rare that you get trades on a Tuesday. So if you factor that in, that there's already been two trades on a Tuesday, it's unlikely that we're going to see another one. Let's do some support resistance areas for Euro AUD. We'll just place one lower one here just because we're going to need it. Because price is broken below. It might not necessarily keep moving down. If anything, it looks like it's possibly reversing on the daily. Yeah, that looks okay. Possibly further down. But roughly here is okay for now. I might adjust this support resistance area later, but it's okay here for now. Okay, so what's going on with Euro AUD on the daily? It looks like we might see a potential reversal tomorrow. I mean, if this closes as indecision, if this closes pretty much what it looks like right now, we might see a potential reversal tomorrow. Is this going to be a viable trade? Personally, for me, no. The reason being is the risk-reward ratio is just not going to work out for me. That lower wick is too large, and that means that if I have a target here at the next resistance area, which would be the logical place for a target, even if I wanted to extend it kind of beyond the next resistance area, only then will I be getting a risk-to-reward ratio of almost 2, not even 2. To get 2, it would have to be up here. So basically, what's going to happen with this setup, if it actually forms into a trade, is I'd probably jump in long around about the top of indecision. So here, my stop loss would need to be at the bottom of the indecision, which would be here. My target is generally next to the resistance area, so preferably at the start, but I don't mind putting it a little bit inside the resistance area if I have to. But that target's not viable because it's not giving me a risk to reward ratio of 2. It's giving me a risk to reward ratio of 1.7. So I would need to put my target here to get a risk to reward ratio of 2, but that's beyond the resistance area. And what is resistance? It's an area full of sellers. So this is resistance. It's an area full of sellers. So to take this trade, I'm going to have to take a massive risk that buyers are going to be strong enough to go through that area of sellers to hit my target, or I'm going to have to enter and only have a maximum goal of about 1.7 risk reward ratio, which is not something I'm willing to do. So this does look like a setup. Maybe if you have different rules in your trading plan than I do, if you're willing to accept the trade, that's going to give you a risk to reward ratio of, let's say, 1.5, 1.6, then this might be something that you look at. But for me personally, it's not. And also, there was a failed trade here posted to the forum. This long here, there was a long posted here, kind of based on this candle. So this was the indecision, and this was the candle that broke the high of the indecision and pushed up, but it pretty much immediately moved all the way back down and hit the stop loss. So it was a failed trade already this week on Euro AUD. So, you know, failed trade already. Strong downtrend, very strong downtrend. Bad risk to reward ratio. It doesn't really feel like a trade that's too safe in my opinion. But again, that's up to you. If you have different rules, you might want to go for it. Euro JPY, we need some support resistance areas for this pair too. But this pair, it's a bit harder to get support resistance areas because we have to go back to 2013. Price is already broken below that one, so we'll need another one. These support resistance areas are going to be updated on the site. I'm not reading them out for you right now, but by the time you're watching this video, if you go to the support resistance area page, which is linked to below, you'll see these support resistance areas. 2011, that's going pretty far back, to be honest. We don't really have a good support resistance area for here. This one kind of looks okay. But you know, we're going back to 2010 to see bounces from it. I'm going to place it here for now, and then I'm going to assess it as price moves down to this area. So let's say price moves down to this area, right? And we get indecision forming right on top of here, and price reverses, then that would be an indication that this is in fact a good support area. If instead price just plows straight through it, or price forms indecision above it, then it would suggest that this is not a good support resistance area. So I'm just going to place it for now. It lines up with the psychological level, 122.00, has a few bounces back in 2010, 2013. Best we can do right now, but like I said, time will tell us if this is a good support resistance area. It's always a bit tricky when price moves into an area it hasn't been in for quite some time. You know, it's not that easy to get your support resistance areas at a time like that, but you make do with what you have, and you have to kind of somewhat guess at the area, but then price will confirm that area for you if it is a good guess. Usdchf, again, between two support resistance areas, so there's not much opportunity here to take a trade. Nope. Eurgbp USD, need more support resistance areas for this pair too. It's going to throw in a lower support resistance area, but this pair price hasn't been down here since 2009. So again, it's one of those ones where it's tough to place. And also in 2009, price was moving incredibly quickly. There was a lot of volatility in 2009. So our support resistance areas are going to be much further spread apart in 2009 than they are now. As you can see, this one is a lot further down. And as you can see, the candle sizes in 2009 were just crazy compared to current candle sizes. A single candle would span across two areas of support resistance, whereas today, that just does not happen. So, yeah, you can clearly see that the volatility from 2009 is making it kind of hard to place support resistance areas right now in 2016. So again, we're just going to have to do a best guess type thing based on the little bit of data from 2009. I've placed it here, but price will confirm this area for us. If price comes down to this area and it bounces away, then that's a confirmation that it's a good area. If price comes down to that area and it crosses straight through it, or it bounces above it, then I'll look at readjusting that area. All right, AUD USD, let's see what's going on here. There's potential for a continuation trade here. Price has crossed above an area of resistance and it's coming back down to it. It could bounce away from this area of resistance that's now possibly become support and continue moving up. So this is something I'm going to keep an eye on. I'm not really trading continuations that much. Actually, I haven't traded them at all this year, but I'm looking to get back into continuation trading. So this is something I am going to monitor. Usdchf, I believe we have not looked at this. Not much going on here, not even worth really looking at. GBP need new support resistance areas. Oops, I was on the 3 hour still. All right. we got kind of sort of good data for GBP/JPY. It's 2013. It's not that old, also not that new, but better than 2009. All right, we got 2 new support resistance areas on GBP/JPY. Pretty easy stuff. But prices are pushing right through, and it's stuck in between the 2 support resistance areas, so not much opportunity for a trade here. Eurgbp, let's check this out. Let's place an upper support resistance area here. Actually, I'm just going to go with this one here. Lots of strong bounces from this one here. All right, but again, it's just breaking above an area of support resistance, so there's no potential for a trade here. Like I said at the start of this analysis, all the trades that we're probably going to get this week, because Tuesday is not a normal trading day, all the trades we're going to get this Tuesday, sorry, not this week, have already been used up on Euro AUD, which was a failed one, and AUD JPY and New Zealand USD, which are still open. So Tuesday's trades, normally you get none. This Tuesday we had 3. It's highly unlikely we're going to see others. Right, USD CAD, last pair we're going to look at. Yeah, between 2 support resistance areas, so not much going on. So yeah, kind of a little bit boring analysis, really. Not much happening. Hopefully tomorrow's analysis will be a little bit more exciting. It actually probably will be, because Wednesday is usually a busy day for us. If not Wednesday, Thursday is usually pretty good. So I would assume tomorrow's analysis is going to be a little bit more interesting than today's. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed the analysis. I hope to see you at the webinar. Sign up for the webinar below, and I'll see you for tomorrow's analysis.